Well, hi, Sasha Black.
Hello, darling.
How are you?
I am so good. I feel like it's been approximately 28 years since I last saw your face.
I don't know why that is, but I feel the same way. And I was like lying in bed last night going, I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I think we're going to talk about maybe the end of the year. But when
Vegas.
was like, oh, holy shit. Like just stop
Yeah.
the
Okay.
presses because you know what? This is really important to me because I'm behind on every podcast in my life. So I haven't even heard you talk about it on your podcast yet. I'm not
Oh,
there.
okay.
So, and there will be people on my podcast who will not have heard it. And it's always fun to hear it when we're talking to each other. I heard a little bit about it on like just a private text thing, but I would love your overall opinion and feeling about how it went first. You were at
Um,
20 Books to Vegas. You were the keynote.
I was the keynote. I delivered two other presentations too. I would say it is one of the best weeks of my life ever.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Explain.
like just on so many levels. So like I think the biggest piece was like the closing off of a really long bit of work with strengths and like yeah, just personal
Mm.
development. So I'm sure we've talked about it on here before, but like obviously my kind of lack of self-worth, feeling kind of like not feeling like I'm lovable, all of that kind of stuff. And there was like a real moment of shift in the conference where um, I just got over it. Like, I mean, that's too flippant to say it like that, but essentially I've done like 2 years of work with Ellie in strengths coaching, getting over all the strengths wounds. And then so like I don't even think this opportunity would have come to me if I hadn't done the work, like just to be a little bit woo-woo about it. But
Hmm.
anyway, it came and it just felt like the closing of a door. The reason that I say that is because for the longest time I would devalue any achievement that I'd got, any win, any success. I'd be like, no, it wasn't good enough, or I'd pick holes in it, or I'd find a way to devalue it so that I didn't feel great about it. And all of that is just because, you know, all of our crap that we have in childhood and whatever. So but I didn't do that with this. I got on stage and I'd kind of been saying to everybody, oh, I'm not afraid of the stage. And the thing is, I really was, because it had been so long since I'd been on stage. But I basically knew when they asked, I could only have one thing that I'd allow myself to stress myself out about. And so the choice was, you can either be afraid of going on stage or you can be afraid of under delivering. So I chose that one and I was like, nope, I'm going to tell everybody that I'm fine about the stage. And do you know what? I said it so many times that I genuinely was fine. I stepped on that stage and I just smiled. And it was like taking a hit of crack. I can't
Ah,
see.
that's literally
It
the
was,
best.
yeah. And then sort of closing that off as I came off stage for the following days, I received so much kindness from people, so many incredible comments that it was such an overwhelming amount of positivity and kindness and just the most lovely heartfelt comments that on no planet in no universe could I have devalued what I did. And so that felt like
And
such
you
a
know,
closing of a door.
I told you that I was getting those positive comments, multiple positive comments from people who, know me a little bit better than they know you. So they would feel comfortable sending me the message. I saw Sasha and she was life-changing in the things she said. So you're getting these and you're feeling this door close of
Yeah.
the
And
monster.
yeah,
Yeah.
really, really. And I don't feel like the same person. I am not the same person who went to Vegas that came home. I am
Holy crap.
stronger. Yeah, I'm stronger. I'm more confident. I am kinder to myself. Like, and it was honestly like it's still every time I talk about it, I get goosebumps because it really truly was a moment in time. And it was a moment in time for multiple reasons because of what the conference represented in terms of like the end of 20 books and the beginning of Author Nation and all of that stuff. But just it was, you know, and then I spent a lot of time with a couple of people, and those were just, you know, it was just a wonderful week. There were wonderful times with friends, people who, you know, I just adore, and it was just amazing. Everything about that week was amazing, except for Vegas.
Well, Vegas sucks. Everything about Vegas sucks.
Oh my God, that city is designed to kill you.
It's like Australia, basically. It's the
most horrendous place in the world.
Australia and Vegas are designed to kill you. Yeah.
It was like that. I mean, seriously, it's designed to kill people. It hates you. It hates humans.
It hates humans, and I take that back about Australia, because Australia just naturally wants to kill you with animals and poisons. But Vegas has been designed to,
like, even the wallpaper is there to fuck you up. Like,
yeah.
and the carpets, like
Was this your first time there?
Yeah. No. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, it was wild.
The last time I was in Vegas, Joanna Penn happened to be there. Maybe it was $20. I can't remember. I just happened to be there, and we were coming through after the Grand Canyon, and we had left the Grand Canyon and Bryce Canyon and Zion, and which are the most breathtaking places in the world, some of them. And then we went to Vegas, and it was an assault on every single sense. And in a way, like, because I'm sober, so it was a way of getting high, right? Like that. There's nothing real about it. Did it make you feel? It makes me feel sick. It can give me migraines and nosebleeds, and
it was horrendous. Like, I did not sleep. I mean, part of the not sleeping was because of jet lag, because the jet lag was horrendous. I was up at 4 every day.
Yeah.
But then, so I got so much energy from being on stage that I couldn't sleep. I literally slept for 2 hours the night of the keynote, because I was just whacked off of my tits. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like I'd taken drugs. Yeah.
All of that adrenaline and cortisol were surging through your system, and they're not going to just like go out easily.
And it lasted 36 hours.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was. But also, like, what a high. It was, I want that again. I got off the stage and I was like, I need a crowd of 5,000 now. Like, that was my instant thought, was like, I need to do this again, but bigger.
How many were in the crowd there?
Over 1,000. Yeah, well over 1,000. There were 1,800, over 1,800 there. So I don't know how many were there, but the room was full.
And I haven't checked on this, and I've asked you this before and I forget everything. This will be eventually online somewhere for like people who didn't go to view. Maybe you're not allowed to say this.
No. Well.
Oh, I do know what you're saying. I didn't know what you're saying.
So I was a bit sad that they didn't record my face. They only recorded the slides and my voice. Now, I did have some people come up to me who listened in their rooms and still said lovely, kind things, and still felt that it was very impactful. So that's great. And that kind of made me feel better. But also, I was a bit sad that my face and my liberal gesturing is not recorded for posterity. But I've got a couple of videos. I've got about 13 minutes of footage out of the 40, I think it was. So I've got some that I can put somewhere that I'll do something with.
Is that out? Is that up online yet at all, or
no? Not yet.
When it is, because the people who listen here are podcast people, they don't care. They're used to hearing your voice and your passion, just voice-wise. Podcast. It was basically the most impressive podcast presentation you've ever given. Just think of it that way.
Yeah,
your listeners will love it. Most of your listeners were not there. Most of my listeners were not there, and they want to hear you, and they can't wait.
Yeah. So hopefully not too much longer, because they usually put it up about a month later, and it will go on their
YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. So anyway, how are you?
Oh, I'm so boring compared to you, and we haven't even like talked to writing it, but we'll get back to that. I'm very well. I feel like I've been doing a million things, and I just closed my classes yesterday. I don't even, the last time we talked, was it a few days before the end of the month? I can't remember. Had I decided to do Nano yet?
No. I
Yeah, no,
think
I
you were
lost.
toying with it.
I
I
I
think.
don't I don't even know if I toyed with it for like more than 2 seconds. Like I wasn't gonna do it, period. Like it just wasn't, I'm a NaNoWriMo supporter. I'm on the writers board. Yay. I don't know anything that's happening with the
I
all the
was just
drama.
about to ask.
Yeah, no, the writers board is ornamental. We are involved in nothing except sometimes fundraising. We're not the actual board. So the board is involved in nano drama. There was moderator, incredibly heinous behavior, and word on the street is NaNoWriMo staff, not board, but staff didn't act quickly enough. And so I trust that the board, who's a great entity and didn't know anything about it, are going to handle that appropriately. So that said, I'm still in love with Nano. And I decided, it felt like 12 minutes before, November started, I was going to do it. And I invited my community to do it with me, on the podcast and also on my Slack channel. And we had 600 people in there. Nanoing. And I think that, most people don't go all the way through to the end because Nano is it is an
Grueling
incredibly difficult
marathon.
challenge. And I know that Nano, the organization, always sidesteps a little bit when they say, well, what percentage of people actually win, quote unquote, 50,000 words of writing a novel in the month of November? And I want to say it's something, and Nano, don't come for me, but whatever, you're really busy, you probably won't. I want to say it's only like 10% maybe of people who cross that finish line. However, in my group, I was already like, fuck Nano, we're doing this our way. This was before the scandal even broke. This is an entire group of rebels. I want you to make a goal. If it is 5,000 words in November, because you didn't write 5,000 last month, and you're doing it on nonfiction, not a novel, and you hit 5,000, you win. So let's just win together, make a goal and win. And I tell you what, it has been the most exciting channel because I've almost given up a million times because I've done Nano most years, 90% of the years since 2006. And I have won only about half of the time. I'm very comfortable not crossing the 50K line if life happens. But this time, because I was with all of these people and I was cheering them on, I felt like I needed to. But also, I would go into the channel on Slack and there would just be dozens and dozens and dozens of messages from the last day of people saying, I got this, I didn't get this, I'm trying this. And by the time I would be done reading that, I was like, oh, here we go, I'm going to write. And I got,
Oh my
and
God, I
today
love it.
it's been the absolute best. We've had a weekly write in, and we had one impromptu 2-hour write in where I was just like, I am not going to write today, help. And we just opened a Zoom. And today's the 30th in New Zealand, so today's the last day of Nano, and I have something like 1,800 words to write, which I will do, even though it's a busy day. I will win today, barring
Oh, you can't not at that
unforeseen.
close.
I ordered the winner's t-shirt, and tomorrow in our little winner Zoom call, I will be wearing it.
Yeah.
And what I've done is I wrote this is you will laugh. I decided to write this book about writing that I've been thinking about writing. This book about how to write gently and to be kind to yourself and still get the work done. And I have written 50,000 words of this brand new book. And then just this morning when I was like, what are Sacha and I going to talk about? What have I done this year? I went and looked. I'm like, oh yeah, I was doing those 500 words. I wrote about 60K in that 500 word a day challenge. What was I writing? And I
That's
found
amazing.
about 30,000 words of the same book that I've been writing for Nano, but I didn't know it. But different stuff. So now I have like 80K. So I just did 30,000 words today. I have this 80K book, which is not done yet. It'll probably go to about 100 and then I'll have to edit it back. But it all fits in this book and it doesn't overlap. For some reason, I didn't overlap. And
That is amazing and seriously impressive because I do end up overlapping.
I think there are sometimes, like there have been sometimes this month, I'm like, I feel like I've said this recently, but not this month. So there will be some, there will be some kind of, and I actually have a code to myself. It's the word all caps used ? And it means, have you used this idea? Have you used this phrase? And then I go and search in the document for later because I don't look it up then. But so I'm so pleased. And then I don't think I've said this anywhere, but I've been racking my brain. Like, what do I call it? Chuck Wendig has the great book, The Gentle Writer, which I think is a great title and I wanted. But he just came out with it not that long ago. Great, good for him. And then I was just racking my brain. I was like, well, I'm writing a book about writing. What? I have no idea. And I'm, talking to AI and trying to get title ideas. And then I'm like, oh, or I could call it How Do You Write? Sacha is bent over at this point. I'm so dumb.
They're like, yeah, what are you gonna call it? Like,
I could call it the name of my almost 400 episode podcast. How
like
do
if
you
I
write
ever wrote a
with
memoir, it would have to be called The Rebel Author.
right?
Right?
But it
You'd
would
be
take you,
stupid not to.
but it would take you almost a year to even have it cross your mind. I call this. And then it will have some nice subtitle with ease or gentleness or something like that. But yeah, so I've been
Oh my
writing this
God, I
book
love
almost
it.
accidentally all year. Just,
I
just fucking
absolutely love
around.
it.
Actually, this whole book is fuck around because the 500 words were going, like, they're just fuck around words. Nano was fucking around. Oh, it makes me like it even better.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait. So you're going to release it next year?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my
My
God,
goal is to have it
amazing.
totally done by the end of December. And honestly, it's going to be a lot easier now that I just found those 30,000 words. And I was looking at the titles of some of the things that I've been writing. I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to write about that. I was going to write about that. And now I don't have to.
Oh my God, I absolutely love it. Oh, I do. So I think I've only tried like maybe 3 or 4 nanos. I know I won the first one. I did not do nano this month because
No, you are in recovery mode.
it's been very surprising like how long I've needed to recover. To be fair, when I came back, I had one night of sleep, and then the following night my son got some kind of neuro thing, and then Chloe got it. So like I had a whole night of no sleep after a plane flight, and sort of half a night's sleep. So then I went out this past weekend with university people who I haven't seen in 15 years. And
oh, so you've been literally, your
heavy.
brain is recovering and your body has been recovering.
Yeah. So, I am not on top form quite yet.
Okay, so what is going on for you writing wise? Because every month I lose track of where you are in your cycle.
So I naively, why am I so naive? I take it back. I'm optimistic.
Yeah,
I'm
it's not naive.
It's not naivety. It's
where
optimism.
is your positivity? It's not
low.
It is okay.
Very low. It's competition achiever, something else, I think.
Okay,
thinking that we can do all the things.
Yeah.
And activator lying to me about time. So I am working on the first book. Oh, so I released the last book, I think, just on the day that we spoke.
Yes. How did it go?
Good. It went really well. Yeah. So highest month last month ever.
Really?
This month it's going to be, it might just beat last month. I'm really hoping it does.
Sacha, I'm so pleased. I'm not surprised, but I'm so pleased.
Like, things are changing slowly financially, but they are changing in a good way, slowly. But I'm very happy about these things.
I'll remind you, annoyingly, that your slow is other people's light speed. I'm just saying. It can still be slow to you.
Yeah. What do you mean it wasn't yesterday? I mean, that's how fast I want it. But anyway, I feel like, have you ever seen the movie Click?
No.
Oh my goodness me, it's Adam Sandler, and he has this remote and he gets really annoyed, so he like presses fast forward through some of like the slow bits or like the arguments or the bits that he doesn't, and obviously then like it learns his behavior, so then it fast forwards through the things that he doesn't want because he thinks. And it's like, I always feel like I need to learn that lesson.
That's a good premise. Yeah.
It was it's silly. Adam Sandler films are silly, but it was great. Anyway, I can't remember what I was saying. So that came out. The
release went well. Yeah.
Release went well. Got back from Vegas. Really thought I would like just take 2 days and then start writing. Oh, so cute.
Sweet smart child.
I know, right? And then like I basically talked to somebody and they were like, oh, I think you should be doing this. And I was like, fuck, you're right. And so I had to completely destroy the outline and start all over again. And this time, and it was a big like the essence of the story is the same, but it was making it more marketable. So I was happy to do it, even though I whined about it for at least a week. So I started writing yesterday.
How did it feel?
Excellent. Did I start writing yesterday? I don't know. I have 17,000 words. I haven't written 17,000 words in 2 days, but I think I salvaged.
You salvaged a few.
I've salvaged a few, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm now over 17,000 words. I've done 10K since yesterday. But I need to finish this book before my kid breaks up from holidays, like have it with my beta reader. So
and when is that? We are recording on the 30th of November. When is that? When does school?
So, well, he finished.
I love this face.
My deadline.
I'm getting to know this face. It's like, oh God, I don't want to say it out loud.
I know, exactly. Yeah, that is legitimately what this face is. Well, I have to finish drafting by the 15th.
But you love that kind of push, right?
It's a little bit bum squeaky, if I'm honest.
There's a phrase that Americans don't say that we absolutely should. Bum squeaky. I don't even say right saying that. I don't sound right. You just sound amazing saying that. Yeah. You could do it. You could do it. What are the odds of you doing it? Oh, I love asking you that question because your brain goes, I'm going to say 100, but it's actually not 100.
Like 70-30, I'd say.
That's pretty good odds.
I'm pretty confident. The reason I'm confident is I have I found Plotter for the first time, and it's changed my life. Oh my goodness. What
do you like about it? Because okay, I'm gonna preface this by saying I am not a plotter, and perhaps that is why I have never made this app work for me. Can you tell people who don't know what it is a little bit about what it is and why it's working for you?
So it's basically like digital Post-its, which is what I like. But what it does is you can import story structure into it. So let's say you use Save the Cat. Mm-hmm. It actually has some templates already embedded in it, but you can also write up your own story. So, inciting incident, first plot point, turning point, whatever. You can put those in there and save it. And then you can then put them into your book. So you can have this storyline, and then you can have multiple ones. So for somebody like me who writes fantasy, which is like an action adventure plot plus a romance plot, I can see both the romance beats and the action adventure beats together, and then above that I can then put my outline, and so all my scene cards. So this story is wildly ambitious. It's dual timeline, 4 points of view across the series. I just I revise it down to 60-40.
Wow. I don't know, but don't you think that sometimes the bigger challenges are actually easier to hit?
Well, yeah. And so normally I have like 26 Post-its. That's my average. But with this, I've written so much more in the outline, so much faster because I type fast. So actually I've got a more comprehensive outline. And so in a way, that's going to help me be faster. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I really liked it. You can move everything around, and it's also can become your kind of like story Bible as well. If you like put your character notes in, and like in some of the like what I'm calling my Post-its, so like where I've got a scene card or whatever, you can stick pictures and things in it. And because I'm so visual, I'm just like slapping stuff in there, and I love it. It's really,
and I know you can connect it to your Scrivener if you want to too.
Didn't know that.
You can import it in. So then I think it'll fill in the sidebar, but that is what I've heard, and I've never done it. So don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I have split screen, so I just have it open here, and
perfect. Yeah. And for people who are wondering, this is PLOTTR, Plotter. Yeah. I would like a follow-up when you're done.
Yeah. Okay.
How it went for you. Okay. So we're going to have a lot to talk about at the end of December.
Yeah, I'm shitting my pants because I really want this one out in February. So if I don't, I basically it's black and white. I have to finish before Christmas or it won't. And I've booked the editor. So
you will do this. Yeah. And this is the what book in the what series? This is the last book in the
First book in a
first
new
book
series.
in this is vampires.
Vampire romance, yes.
So
Yeah,
you're so excited to get into the vampires.
oh my God, because they're like catnip. Do you have a genre that's like
Yeah.
catnip for you?
Yeah, it's exceedingly boring. It's like the mother-daughter story. But
Okay.
that's my catnip. But if it's actual catnip, which I can't write, it is any cult memoir.
Oh, I've read a couple.
One click.
They are fascinating.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I want some recommendations. I find them fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah. I've read a
Oh.
couple and was like, I was so naughty. I was such a bookworm. We had a big Easter thing and loads of our family were over and I was just like cooking like this.
Book in one hand,
Like,
whisk in the other.
yeah, literally. And then like after dinner, everyone was like, is she gonna like talk to us? And I was like, no, I'm sorry. I read the whole book in the day.
Really good holiday.
Holiday was amazing for me.
One of my best friends reads and walks, and she walks for like an hour a day and outside in the city in Oakland. She's just got the Kindle in front of her and she's walking. I would trip in 5 minutes and she never has, nor has she been mugged, knock wood. Like
I don't know how I feel about that though, because like I love on the one hand the fact that you're moving, but on the other hand, I'm like, if I'm moving outside, I want to see outside. I'd rather walk on a treadmill and read.
yeah, I don't know how she
Like I
does
do
it.
that. That's amazing. I'm like well impressed. Anyway, I would probably headbutt a tree knowing me.
Oh, I'm so excited about this book. And so the last series is done for now.
Done.
Done.
The one of the side characters in the last book is the protagonist in the new book, though. So I tried pretty hard to make sure there was some like another doorway in.
Yes. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. So I'm excited. But so what are you working? You're going to finish this writing book and then what's happening with the miracles, the 7 miracles and stuff?
7 miracles. I've got to revise that by March. So I'll start in February, the end of February. It's really a very light revision. So, and then that doesn't even come out till 2025. So it will it doesn't exist to me anymore. It's just gone, which is
but next year is the year of like all the
feeling.
publishing for you, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for Unstuck, the New Zealand memoir, and this writing book, and hopefully the recovery memoir. The only thing so I've gone great guns this month, but the only thing I haven't done is started doing the audio recording for Unstuck, which I really need to do because that's the next thing. And then as soon as that's almost in the can, then I can start launching the Kickstarter. I don't want to do it until then because I think that would just put pressure on me to. I don't know. I don't know.
That's very wise.
Yeah, and I also don't have a cover yet for Unstuck. And that absolutely has to come right about now. And I have just been like stumped on who to hire and what I want to have on the cover. I've been looking, at all the comps for basically this is happiness self-help memoir or really happiness memoir. And in that category, there's no overarching cover design.
Yeah.
There's nothing that unifies these things. And so what happens is then I'm looking at the bestseller list and I'm moving toward what I like, but I don't know if that's good. And I put out this is irritating. I put out a couple queries to cover designers and haven't heard back anything. Like I've chosen my favorite one and no, absolutely no response. I should go check spam actually, because usually people will send back at least to like, sorry, can't right now.
Acknowledgement. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that some of my emails have been going to spam. So I hadn't thought about that. But I did have a feverish I did not have a fever, but it felt like I had a fever when I had one afternoon and evening when Lala was out of the house. And I just, how sometimes you just, well, I know, you go deep, dark into a hole of doing something that is just so fun and is not profitable, but you've got to do it. And I was making the cover for it. I was using AI pieces to put in, and then arranging in Canva and using Photoshop to move things around. And I came up with some fantastic ideas. And I told myself, tomorrow these aren't going to look that great. And tomorrow came in, they don't look that great. Because you know what? I'm not a cover designer. And the one thing I always tell everyone is hire your cover. It's some of the most important money you will ever spend on your book. And I still like really enjoy. I guess I learn in doing that. I learn what not to do, like what I don't want.
But I also think, like, if you are not the sort of person who buys all 3 of their covers for the next series in advance, then then actually having that cover is quite motivational to get the thing done. Like, before I used to book my covers in advance, I used to make a cover in Canva because I needed to see it as motivation. So like, I get doing that. Like, I think it's great.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea for people who have never played with that, to actually see the title and their name on the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you have a word or phrase for next year?
I do not yet. But I normally with the word or phrase for the year, I go with my gut. And, you know, it comes to me immediately, and it's going to be launch.
Ooh.
That's the one that came. And if you tell me that was my word of the year last year, I'll smack you. But I don't think it was. I think last year it was connect.
I think it was connect this year.
And, or something like that. And I have definitely done that. I have. But mine
was joy, I think.
What, really?
I think so. I think because I kept the Post-it that I'm sure I kept the Post-it that we did in here somewhere. I don't know. I'm just chucking.
I love that you just pulled out a piece of paper and like 4 Post-its flew in the air and stuck to Sacha's body.
It's in here somewhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine was, I don't know, I can't find it, whatever. I'm pretty sure mine was joy. It was the year of joy. I was going to do everything for joy, and I have tried really hard to do that. Mine for next year is niche and nurture.
Tell me more about that.
So one of the things that I kind of realized in Vegas, and some of this is because of the stuff that Joanna talks about, but also I think just because of like the type of sessions and the conversations that we were having, I really feel like the industry is splintering into smaller and smaller niches, and smaller communities. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. I think what that's doing is providing more opportunity for people to get what they actually want and be in a community that actually sees them, understands them, and approath them.
And are you speaking directly of writers in the industry or also readers?
Both.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I'm seeing is, you know, this fracturing of business models. You know, years ago it was trad or indie, then it was KU or wide. Well, I don't really think we have that so much anymore, and it's been shifting for a while. But you know, there was so much impetus put on direct selling, but not just direct selling. It's like, are you a Kickstarter, you know, girl, or are you a, you know, a Shopify girl? Are you a this? Are you a that? And you know, then there were people there that were making money doing in-person stuff, and then there were people that were making money with, you know, fucking 10-page poetry books or whatever, you know. So like it just felt like a real diversification in business models and community. And one of the things I was worried about with the loss of 20 books is that we wouldn't have that central community hub. Now, look, I know not everybody subscribes to 20 books ethos, and that's fine. I'm not saying that we all should, but the space that they provided was welcoming to all, as long as you weren't a dick, right? You know,
and for people who don't know, 20 Books is shutting down. It was purchased by Author Nation, or it's going to be called Author Nation.
The Facebook group remains.
Okay.
The 20 Books to 50K conference is gone.
Right.
The conference is gone. The contracts for the hotel were brought by Author Nation.
Got it.
And so I was worried that we were going to lose that kind of connected space together. And even though not everybody in the community went, it was still a focal point. Anyway, I don't think that is the case at all anymore. I think Author Nation are going to do a pretty good job of trying to keep everybody together, one, but also I think we've got this natural fragmentation. I think this happens like in ecosystems anyway. You have like this centralization and then a fragmentation and then a centralization and then a fragmentation. Just look at governments and
Right.
and society, right? So, and we've had this centralization for a really long time in the community, and I do think that we're splintering, and I actually am quite excited about that. And so the reason I've come up with niche and nurture is because my niche is what has given me my freedom. So I want to stay niched next year. Stay niche in terms of the author community side of things as well, but also nurture it. Like I feel like I have been so busy and fractured over the last couple of years that I have lost some of that connection. So for me, it is about doing more live things, more speaking, more just connecting more with the kind of the key audiences. But also, and I haven't said this to you.
Tell me.
So I did joke earlier on about wanting to do like to speak to more people, like in terms of like a bigger audience and stuff. I actually think I was meant to do that.
Excellent. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is something
So you're
else.
going to be moving toward that.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a big
and I
thing
don't know
to
what
say.
that looks like. It is a big thing to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like, but I need to do that.
I believe that you actually don't need to know what it looks like yet, because that's got you're open to it. You're moving that direction. You have closed the pesky flapping door that was telling you couldn't, that you weren't enough, and you don't have that anymore. And now you can freely move toward whatever that is.
Yeah.
Oh, so that gives me chills.
I am very excited. Like it was, it's been a whole thing. So
niche and nurture suits that perfectly. And I was looking at my word launch. I think I'm going to revise mine to be a little bit like yours, and I'm going to say launch and lift.
Oh,
good, right?
Talk to me about the lift.
The lift is what it's connected to the connect of this last year, in that writing books is one thing for me, but being in connection and being in community and helping others is equally important to me. So if I'm lifting others and helping them launch, and I'm lifting myself and helping myself launch, those two words I think have to go together for me. I have to remember to connect with the community and to continue helping, because that's what I love to do. And this particular book, How Do You Write, will be doing that. It's basically the book of my writing ethos. Have
you ever answered your own questions on your show?
Yes. Somebody did a show with me when I did it. And I can't remember. Who did that show with me? I'm going to be embarrassed when that person says it was me. It wasn't Jay. But I can't remember. I'll find where it was.
You may have to redo it to see if it's changed over the years.
It's probably changed.
Celebrate the launch.
And the questions have changed too on the show. So I probably haven't done it in a while. But yeah.
That would be a good launch episode.
That's and maybe I'll have you interview me. There we go.
Oh, well, that would, I mean, I would do it, but I do think you should do that because
that's a great idea.
The title of the show and the book, so you can't not. It would be rude not to.
That is a very good point. That would be really weird if I did it.
I know, right?
I think it was when I had a book come out, which it was probably for my last book release that I had somebody come on the show and interview me. But I will do that again.
Yeah.
It has been a long time since I had a book come out, and I would really like to make that happen. And this year was supposed to be more releasing, but it just has not happened.
So are you going to draft next year as well, or do you think it will be mostly editing and launching?
I would like it to be editing and launching. However, I have really gotten a boost out of all this writing I've done this year. Like I've written, a book and a half this year, or a little bit more, plus the Patreon stuff. And I'm just continuing my practice of collecting things that I will have to revise to release. But I do love the drafting. And the thing about the drafting for me, the 500 words a day thing, which I have not done in months, but I think I'm going to recommit to that in the beginning of the year because that felt really generative to me. I really liked showing up and writing just what I wanted with a little bit more forethought. Like I just found out that I wrote a lot in the book I accidentally wrote in November in the 500 words. So that's fantastic. I knew that they were going to go somewhere, but I would like to know a bit more about where I'm heading with these words. Because otherwise it does feel like, well, am I just practicing writing words and sentences and I'm never going to go back to them? Because I don't go back to them. I'm so busy either writing the next 500 or doing the actual work of my job of writing that I was just glancing through some of the little pieces that I've written. I'm like, wow, yeah, no, I have no recollection of writing these. There's not a whit of editing. There's sentences incomplete.
I love that though. Like I quite often, if I go back and open any of my books, I'm like, I have no memory of like writing that sentence or this scene even. So I'm doing TikTok a lot at the moment.
Ah,
And somebody said to me, oh, just go to all your sex scenes and then whittle them down to like a 1-2 punch or like a 1-2-1-2 punch for TikTok. And I was
yeah.
like, right. I can't remember any of my sex scenes. And that's like 6 in each book. So I was like, how the fuck, like, what am I gonna have to read these books again? Like, no.
That's a great, simple TikTok way to do it though. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I was so in love with TikTok and I think I still am in a deep level, but I don't know if I've told you that I stopped looking at it
Oh,
about
interesting.
about 5 months ago, maybe. I just one day I was on it and it almost made me feel queasy, like seasick. Like while I was scrolling, I've actually had vertigo caused by too much scrolling on Instagram, which is so embarrassing. But I'm wondering if like TikTok it was like is that was just ridiculous. That was a day when I was on it for like 4 hours and not feeling well. But but I, but I just kind of closed it and didn't want to go back. And I've gone to it a couple of times and my sister is the best TikTok curator in the world and she sends me the best TikTok. So I have months of the best TikToks, the niche ones that we love to go through and I just haven't done it yet.
So I am not a scroller
See
on
that
social media.
that's yeah, that's good. I
I find it very easy to just close it or
yeah.
to not get sucked down the rabbit hole.
You
My
are
wife,
anomalous.
I am. I know that. I know that. So last night, for example, I had come across a very funny TikTok. I obviously spend time on it because I'm trying to, but
Right.
I'm very I go on there. It's a work account. I'm doing work on there. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I'd found this TikTok that I thought she'd find funny. So I sent it to her, but she just said to me, I want to read. And I was like, okay, listen, watch this and then put the phone down. She never read.
No.
And I asked her 3 times. I was like, because you can't tell her. I was like, do you fancy reading now? Do you feel like now is a good time to read? Like, shall we read now together? Like, it was too late because she was scrolling, and I was like, and I literally said to it before I gave her the link. I was like, I'm giving you this because I only want you to watch this one reel. One. It's too late. It was too late. She couldn't. She just, that was it. So then lost another hour. So she is definitely like a scroller of videos, and she was like it on Facebook, and then then Instagram and TikTok is where she does it. But I don't find any joy in that. I would rather read.
Yeah.
So
That
I'm
and that's where
quite,
my brain has switched over. It
yeah.
doesn't it's not finding value in scrolling anything. The only thing I do enjoy scrolling right now is Reddit, but I have a 15 or 20-minute lock on my phone so it goes off because Reddit feeds my input and Reddit curates all of my highest interests
Oh,
into a
that's cool.
feed. And this person is talking about making kimchi and this person is talking about Wellington and this person is talking about reactive dogs. And it's all questions that other people are answering. And for me, that feels really good. And I'm conscious that I want that, but I also need to limit it. So then the phone goes off and my heart goes, ugh. And then
But where is your input?
number one,
Yeah. So
which is
you
why I
need it
can't.
also.
What's that?
You need it.
I do need it. But I also need to control it because reading is my favorite input. So now I have locks on the phone for all social media that tempts me, except TikTok doesn't tempt me, for like, 5 minutes at a time if I need to go in and do something business wise. And then I've just been reading so much, so
Oh,
much.
really? Have
And
you been
that
tracking your
feels so
reading?
good. Yeah. Well, I mean, I track my reading, but I don't read as much as somebody I know named Sacha Black reads, but I will tell you what I have, where I am
I
with my
have not
reading.
read. I don't know what I read
Stop
last
it.
year.
You are such a reader.
No, I am. I'm still, I was really hoping this was the year that I would beat my best year. I'm not gonna do that.
Well, your best year was ridiculous. What was it? It was,
No, it was 120, I
oh
think.
my God. Yeah, I'm at 71, which is 71 for
I think
2023,
that's,
which
but
is good.
the average human doesn't, well, the average person doesn't even read, but the average person reads like 5 bestsellers a year. That's it. So
Oh, I feel so filled up by the books that
yeah,
I've read this year. And I've had the goal of 52 books for a few years, and I always meet or beat that just a little bit. So this year I put it, maybe last year I did this too. I made the goal 100, because I will fail, but I really like when I, go into Goodreads and like put the book, especially if it's a paper book, you've got to go to Goodreads and put it in that you finished it,
yeah,
and it'll tell you how fast you have to read for the rest of the year to meet your goal. And I love
that's
being
what I love.
told. I
Like
love
crack.
it. Got to do
Why
3.3
don't you put
books.
it, why don't you put it at 75?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because then it's close, it's enough of a goal that it's a stretch, but it's also
Yeah,
close enough that you're actually pretty likely to do that, and
that's
so
a
you'll
great
stay on
idea.
track, and by staying on track
I might
it's
go
more
over.
motivating. Yeah,
Right.
because that's what I do. I refuse to set it higher than 100, even though I know in my head I'm aiming to go over 100, because I want to beat it. I have to beat it.
That's a
So
great idea. And
yeah,
I could change it right now.
yeah,
And
you
we've got a
could,
whole month left.
and you could get 4 books in a month. You
Oh,
could do
easy.
that.
Easy.
You could do that. Oh, how good you gonna feel when you beat it.
The competition comes out to roar.
I love it. I'll get a little bit high.
I know. I like just overheated. My face is red.
I know, I'm feeling hot, like, for you.
That's amazing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
How
change
many
it right after
competitive
this.
women does it take to set a Goodreads goal?
Very, very sexy.
Oh dear. Okay, so you said you've read some amazing books. Hit me.
Okay, because obviously as soon as you say that, I've never read a book before in my
I know.
in
I'm
my
sorry. I should have
life. You know what?
pre-warned you.
I've been on a Lisa Jewell tear. Have you ever read her for thriller? Do you read thriller at all?
I don't, but I think my wife has read Elisa Jewell.
She is phenomenal. She's such a good writer, and she came out with this book, The Family Upstairs, I think it was, or The Family Somewhere in the House, a few years ago. And then I just found out she had The Family Remains, and remains is a play on words. But the way she structures these books are so phenomenal. And she actually beat herself in the second book. It was better than the first, which is so hard to do when a book is phenomenal. And so if anybody likes thriller, anything by Lisa Jewell. Have you read Yellowface? Have we talked about Yellowface?
Yes,
Yeah, I think
we
we talked
did.
about that.
Yeah,
That
I
was
loved it.
I loved it.
I
I
didn't love the
inhaled.
ending, but I loved the book.
Don't actually remember the ending, but
Ending was a letdown. It just sort of petered out.
I hate that. And
Yeah.
I read in terms of like, have you read Beach Read by Emily Henry? No, not Beach Read, sorry, Book Lovers by
Yes.
Emily. So darling.
Oh,
I love.
it was lovely.
And then
Not really my thing, but I did enjoy it.
it wasn't my thing either, but I read it actually at the beach on a retreat, and it was perfect.
That's so
Um,
meta.
and then the other one that just I think is probably going to be my favorite for the year is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. It's slightly okay, so it's written by Ruth Ozeki, who and it's almost a fictional memoir. The main character is her, but it's a novel, a speculative fiction novel about a little girl on the other side of the world in Japan. Ruth Ozeki is Japanese American, and they're living these kind of parallel lives, and it's really about her and she's writing about her husband and her town, but then the little girl is over here. It's the weirdest, wildest, beautiful, most beautiful book ever. I loved it.
How do you want people to love your books?
Ooh, what a great question.
Like, how do you want them to, like, how,
I know
like,
the answer.
okay,
I
because I
want
don't think
them
I know the answer.
I want them to read the book and then close the cover and have a big like happy sigh. And then like if I'm picturing them holding it in their hands, it's not on the Kindle, it's in their hands, and they go and they look at it, and usually they give books away when they're done with them, like I do, but this one they put on their keeper shelf, and they go back to it when they need a boost, when they need something to fall into that they know will make them feel good. And I have been lucky enough to have people tell me that they reread my books for that reason. So
that's because you write you write like hugs in a book, right?
I write hugs in a book and I can't help it. It just happens, whether it is memoir, fiction, whatever it is. That's just, and
but it's because you're a hug in a person.
Oh. Okay, I want to turn it around on you. How do you want readers to experience your books?
So for my nonfiction, I want them to be the most dog-eared, coffee-stained, chocolate smudged, sticky tabbed, penned, scribbled on books in the history of books. Like I want them to be velveteen rabbits. Like there is nothing better than when somebody shows me one of my nonfiction books that has been loved to death and is like falling apart, because I'm like, yes, good.
I get that. I only have one nonfiction writing book, and it's fast chapter memoir, but people will post that on social media sometimes on their desk with all of the tabs, and it just melts. I melt.
That's on my TBR for next year, by the way.
I think you'll like
for reasons.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, I thought you might be. But for nonfiction, I don't know. I think I get very split, because I feel like I have different types of books in me, and they don't all do the same things. So I think that I want people to feel a little feral.
I was going to say, like, the word excitement is,
yeah,
and I think that that is over all of your books, regardless of genre. And I think that even in your nonfiction, that comes out. The excitement.
What excitement?
Absolutely. The ferality, the ferociousness, and it's your competition. It's the way you drive a reader of fiction forward, or the writer you're helping forward. You are a driver. Would you agree?
Yeah. I always feel like I have you seen Fast and Furious, any of them?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. So you know how they have like the big red button?
Yeah.
They like flick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am the button. You're a hug, and I'm nitrous oxide.
Wait, what did you say? What was the last part you said?
Is it nitrous oxide or something like that? Yeah, the NOS gas. That's me. I'm NOS gas.
I'm the hug. You're the crack. I think nitrous oxide doesn't last very long, whereas crack, you can go a while. I think. But that is so true. You've got fast and you've got faster.
Fast and Furious. That's me, right? Fast and
more
Furious.
Yes. That's a great chain of movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
And I wonder if that will ever change for either of us. It probably won't. I think that people come with the personalities that they're born with, and I think that writers come with the voice they're given. And when you're writing at 95, people will still be saying, "Oh my God, that's Sacha. Oh, I'm exhausted by what she got done."
Yeah. I like the thought of people being exhausted after they've, like, in the best way possible, though, right?
And and it's never in a drained feeling. It is in a I now cannot wait to take on the world.
Yeah,
that's what you do. Oh yeah, I like that. The ending thought is like, when you finish your Sacha book, I can't wait to take on the world. And when you finish your Rachael book, it is like, I want to go hug my dog.
Yeah. That really does like summarize us
I think so
effectively.
I think that's why we do so well together. Yeah. All right. So what shall we talk about next month? What should we plan on? So that will be the end of the year for us. It has to be goals. Yeah.
Review of the year and goals for next year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I love those. I love those.
Yeah, but I need to make a note to go back and, well, either find it's on this one of these very large yellow post-it, so I know what it looks like. I've just got to find it because I wrote them all down. So I think it might be in my bullet journal. I'll find it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. All righty.
Okay, my friend. Happy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.